In the 9th century, Taoist alchemists in China were searching for an elixir of immortality. During one experiment, they accidentally mixed saltpeter, charcoal, and sulfur. Instead of creating eternal life, the mixture exploded. They called it huo yao, meaning fire medicine. This accidental discovery eventually became the foundation of firearms. Gunpowder is made of about 75% saltpeter, 15% charcoal, and 10% sulfur. Saltpeter acts as an oxidizer, releasing oxygen when heated. This allows the mixture to burn extremely fast, creating a rapid expansion of gas powerful enough to launch a projectile. At first, gunpowder was used only for fireworks, signal devices, and religious ceremonies. During the Song dynasty, however, Chinese military engineers realized its military potential. Between the 10th and 12th centuries, they created the fire lance, a bamboo tube filled with gunpowder and attached to a spear. When ignited, it produced a jet of flames and burning fragments, causing both physical damage and psychological shock. It was successfully used during the Siege of Dayan in 1132. Engineers later added ceramic shards and metal pellets, turning the weapon into an early projectile launcher. But bamboo barrels could not withstand increasing pressure. Replacing them with bronze tubes led to the invention of the hand cannon, the first true firearm to use expanding gunpowder gases to fire a solid projectile. By the 13th century, metal hand cannons had replaced bamboo weapons in China, making firearms more powerful and reliable. Chinese engineers also developed larger gunpowder weapons, including the thunderclap bomb and the heaven-shaking cannon, capable of damaging fortified defenses. During the Mongol invasions, the Mongols adopted these weapons and carried gunpowder technology across Asia and into the Islamic world, creating one of history's most significant technology transfers. Chinese engineers also developed fire arrows and early rockets, which later spread to Korea and India. These inventions eventually became the ancestors of modern rockets and missile technology. By the 13th and 14th centuries, gunpowder had reached Europe through war, trade, and cultural exchange. Along with it came other Chinese inventions, including paper, printing, and the compass. Many historians believe the similarities between early European and Chinese cannons point to a direct transfer of knowledge. Although early European firearms were slow, inaccurate, and difficult to reload, they changed warfare forever. Cannons could destroy castle walls, while heavy armor no longer guaranteed protection. Over time, inexpensive firearms replaced the battlefield dominance of heavily armored knights and transformed military strategy across Europe. Gunpowder changed not only weapons but also military architecture. As cannons grew more powerful, tall stone castles became vulnerable to artillery. Engineers responded by building low, thick, star-shaped forts designed to absorb and deflect cannon fire. A major breakthrough came in the late 15th century with the matchlock. Earlier hand cannons had to be ignited by hand, making accurate aiming difficult. The matchlock used a trigger to lower a burning fuse into a priming pan, allowing soldiers to aim and fire with greater precision. This made firearms practical for regular infantry. By the 16th century, matchlock muskets had spread across Europe, the Ottoman Empire, China, and Japan. The Ottomans armed their janissaries with matchlocks, while Japanese gunsmiths refined the design into the famous Tanegashima. China also adopted improved matchlocks centuries after inventing gunpowder. Although powerful enough to pierce plate armor, matchlock muskets were slow to reload. Musketeers therefore fought alongside pikemen who protected them while reloading. This tactic dominated European battlefields during the 16th and early 17th centuries. The matchlock's greatest weakness was its burning fuse, which could fail in rain, revealed a soldier's position at night, and required constant attention. In the early 16th century, the wheel lock solved this problem by creating sparks with a spring-loaded wheel, making firearms more reliable, especially for cavalry. Although the wheel lock was more advanced than the matchlock, it was expensive and difficult to produce, so most infantry continued using matchlocks. Around 1610 to 1615, French gunsmith Marin Le Bourgeois developed the flintlock. By using flint striking steel to create sparks, it made firearms faster, more reliable, and effective even in bad weather without requiring a burning fuse. By the mid-17th century, flintlocks had spread across Europe and became the standard military firearm for nearly 2 centuries. They were widely used in colonial conflicts, the American Revolution, and the Napoleonic Wars. Another major innovation was the socket bayonet, which attached around the barrel without blocking the muzzle. Soldiers could now shoot and fight in close combat with the same weapon, eliminating the need for separate pikemen and changing infantry tactics. In the early 19th century, the percussion cap replaced the flintlock. Using a shock-sensitive explosive compound, it offered faster ignition, greater reliability, and better performance in wet conditions, making earlier firing systems obsolete. The history of firearms was shaped not by a single invention, but by centuries of continuous improvement. It began with the accidental discovery of gunpowder by Chinese alchemists and spread through trade, conquest, and cultural exchange. Each civilization, from China and the Mongols to the Ottomans, Japan, and Europe, refined the technology. What started as a failed search for immortality ultimately transformed warfare, military architecture, and the course of world history.